Hello my dear guest. Today I want to show you different ways how you can copy an object in JavaScript. So let's dive into our example. I will create variable user and our user will have name, let's say Alex, and let's have property active to false. And now I need to create a copy of it. So the easiest way, I will create super user and we can use spread operator and spread our user. And now let's show the results. First, I want to check if user equals to super user, if it has the reference to super user, and I want to console log our user and our super user. Also, it's quite neat trick to put an object in your console log. In this case, you don't need to write like people will write user and then comma and then pass the user. In this case, there is no need because as you can see in the console, you will see already user and the name of the variable, user and super user. Also, we've checked if user equals to super user and it false. Now, to make sure this is a copy, let's change something in super user. Let's say active to true. And as you can see, it changed in our super user, but it didn't touch our original object. So it false, but super user active to true. And it works in with a lot of simple objects when you have only primitive values like numbers, strings, and booleans. But if I want to add array, for example, let's say user will have permissions and it will have an editor. And everything works fine. We have two objects and two objects have editor permissions. But then what I wanted to do is I want to add admin permissions to our super user. So what I will do, super user permissions push and admin. And in this case, everything goes wrong. So I didn't, because when I pushed this admin permissions, it pushed it also to our original one. The reason why, because it's in JavaScript, arrays and objects are passed by reference. Simple types are passed by values, but objects are passed by reference. So super user has a reference to user permissions object, and it can lead to a lot of problems. Also, just to show you, let's create an object like abilities fly. I will say false, but in our super user I will say abilities fly to true. And as you can see, because it's an object, it passed by reference, it also changed in our original object. This is when we use the structure, it's called a shallow copy. But what we need is the deep copy. To do the deep copy, what we need to do is to use structural clone like API. And we need to use our user. In this case, yes, let's look. This structural clone, it used deep copy. And it's also native, so you will have, if you are using modern browsers, you will have this API. So it created a deep copy, and as you can see, our super user, it has no reference to our original object. when we added admin, it didn't add it into our permissions. And when we change our abilities, it also has no effect into our original object. And this is two ways to copy. It's what I used like 99% of the time. Also, another way to create not deep copy, but a shallow copy is to use, let's say, super user, is to use object assign. But I would not recommend using it because, let me see. So basically it passes the target and then what object you want to copy. It also creates, just to remind you, it also creates a shallow copy because as you can see, permissions and here are the same. They should not be the same, but the real reason, because you can mess up and you can do something like this. You will be tired or something. And if you do it like this, you will create a real copy. Not copy, but it will be the same object. And if you change even like here active, it also change original object. So it's much better to use spread operator. Also just one note, if you're using legacy code, you will see a lot of, instead of structured clone, you will see JSON, stringify, JSON parse. Should you use structured clone? You can. But this JSON, stringify, JSON parse, it was so very good optimized that there is no need to go into your code and change everything. Just write your future code with structured clone and you will be pretty good. And remember to not isolate yourself. Have a great day. Bye.